Have you ever felt spiritually broken? Like maybe you've made too many mistakes or walked too far away to ever hear God's voice again. Perhaps you're asking, why can't I hear God speak to me? Because you feel disqualified, alone, and terrified that God has maybe given up on you. Ooh, ladies, my heart goes out to you. I know how that feels. By the end of today's episode, you will understand the distance dilemma, why it's not God who has moved, but that we might be plugging our ears to his answers. We're going to help you solve the pain of spiritual isolation by identifying blocks of anger and distraction that sometimes keep us in the dark. We're moving from feeling abandoned to finding alignment. Stay tuned. Ordinary women, extraordinary faith. When God calls, we say yes. The Arise Women of God podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Arise Women of God podcast. I'm your host, Tamara K. Anderson, and joining me today is Wendi Christensen, my co-founder of Women Warriors of Light and a licensed social worker. And today we're talking about the reality of spiritual silence. We've all been there at some point. First, we're going to normalize the struggle, reminding you that feeling dark moments doesn't mean you are flawed or incapable. Second, I'll share about the teenager tactic, how my own anger over my son's autism diagnosis caused me to plug my ears to God's will. Third, Wendi's going to explain the management complaint, why it's okay to be frustrated with the man in charge, but why we might need to also forgive God to hear him again. And finally, we're going to talk about the reality of spiritual warfare and how to cast out darkness and let light back in. But first, Wendi's going to kick it off by normalizing these dark moments that we all have.
Yeah, this is a big, heavy topic, but I think in even starting to address this topic, I think everyone has felt this. You're not alone in thinking, why can't God hear me or speak to me? He hears you, but why can't he speak to me? And I think we have all gone through those moments where you feel, why isn't he talking to me? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? Why can't I hear him? I'm praying my heart. I'm trying to do everything that I can. Why isn't he speaking to me? We have all been there. We've all, I think, had those dark moments in our lives where we think, why? And what I have found is keep holding on. Don't give up. He will try in any way that he can to keep speaking to you. It just may not come in the way that you expect or want, but that doesn't mean he's not speaking to you. And sometimes I think it's in the space that we're in that we just may not be receiving it.
It's so important to realize that you aren't messed up just because it's quiet. But often that quietness comes because we have unintentionally created distance. I remember hearing a quote once. I can't even remember who said it, so I'm going to apologize that I'm not quoting someone directly. But the principle was, if you can't hear God, it's because you have moved. It's not because he has moved, right? It's because you have distanced yourself. And so sometimes it's because I want something and I am so adamant about it that I'm not listening to him. And so I'm like, in last podcast episode, I shared how I wanted God to heal my sons from their autism when they were little. And I was so frustrated and angry and determined that I had enough faith that this miracle could happen, that I wasn't listening to anything else. I wasn't even considering that maybe it wasn't God's will to heal them. You know what I mean? And so for a while there was a distance between me and God because I didn't want to hear what he was telling me, because I didn't want to know that answer. I didn't want to know if the answer was, Tamara, this is not my will, and you're going to have to live with it. I didn't want that. It was kind of like I was plugging my ears like a little teenager and going, blah, 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 not listening. I can't hear you, you know? So yeah, that's where I was for a while there because I was mad. There you have it. I didn't want the answer that God had for me. And Wendi sees this with her clients all the time. Sometimes we don't like how life has turned out, and we want to take it up with management.
Well, and I think you bring up an important point there. I have to humble myself and look at, is there anything I can change? Are there actions that I'm taking that is distancing me from him? Because he's always there. You're right. We distance from him, whether that's through I don't feel worthy, I don't feel enough, whatever it is. And sometimes we're just angry at him. And I think I've thought a lot about this lately as I've dealt with clients that have been very angry with God. Why do we get so angry with him? And I think it's because he's the God of this universe. He's in charge. And when we're frustrated, you're at a restaurant and you get an order that's not the way it's supposed to be, and you don't like that order, you complain to the management, right? Like we complain to the management, go fix this. You need to bring back the right thing. And who's in charge of our universe? It's God. So if things aren't going well, they're not going right. It's like, I want to talk to the man in charge and I'm complaining. I'm mad at you. I'm angry. Why are you having this happen? And I think we kind of have to go back and look at the qualities and characteristics of God. So back to your question, what do you do? Sometimes I have to step back and remember the things that I know about God. And the things I know is, number one, he has my back, and I know that. He is somebody I've learned through the scriptures. We were talking about scriptures last time. He is somebody that does have my back. He does care about his kids. He loves us very, very much. That doesn't mean he gives us everything we want. If I give my kids everything they want, they don't appreciate anything, and they kind of are more rebellious than if I put limits and boundaries around them, right? When I ask for, no, if you want to go and do A, B, or C, that's fun and awesome and exciting, then you need to do this. You've got to do your homework. You've got to do your chores. Once those things are done, then you can go and have your fun time with your friends, right? Well, I think that kind of goes for us. If you want, not that it's always conditional upon, if you do this, you get this blessing, but I think the Lord is like, there are a few things that qualifications to meet. And then definitely, I want to bless you all the time, all the time. But if I give you everything all the time, we don't learn anything either. And so if I step back in these moments when I'm like, he's not speaking to me, what's going on? I just have to take a deep breath, just ground and center myself, try to get into that space where he's not against you, he's not hating you, he's not rejecting you. Maybe I do forgiving of him, or I just say out loud, I forgive God for whatever it is that I need to forgive him for. Then it helps me to release some of that so that I can step into a space where I'm more humble and I'm willing to hear him. Then I can hear him, because that just means there's a few blocks in place and I just need to remove them so that I can hear him. And I think that helps me to go, he is loving, he's kind, he's got my back. Things aren't I don't feel like they're going my way, or I'm not hearing him my way. So how can I shift or move or adjust? What do I need to do so that I can hear him better? Because I know he's trying to speak to me.
So we have to get back into alignment. And sometimes that means recognizing it's not just our emotions that are in the way. There are times it's actually spiritual opposition. The adversary wants us to feel distant, so we stop trying. The only thing else I would tack on, I think we've covered a lot of good things here, is I've also found that the attacks of the adversary are real, and he does not want us to connect and hear God. And so sometimes we have to cast out the darkness, cast out Satan in the name of Jesus Christ. We can follow the pattern in the New Testament and call on angels and light to fill us and bring us peace and light and joy and those feelings back into our mind, heart, and soul. So those things, I think we've covered a lot of good things, how God is speaking to us, but how sometimes we can't hear him because there are obstacles, but that it's not something we can't overcome. We can always get back in alignment and hear him again. So
No, I'm glad you added that, because that's so true. If we cast that out and then fill the void that's left with that beautiful light, and just remember God is always reaching out to us. It may not always feel like it, but He's always trying to speak out, and just have that faith that it will come.
So, my friend, if you are in a season of silence, don't give up. You are not disqualified. You are loved so very dearly by a God in heaven who knows you perfectly and still loves you perfectly. Maybe you're just in the middle of a perspective shift. Forgive God for a no answer, or clear the clutter from your busy mind. Please know He is still there, waiting for you to draw near. Before we go, I want to leave you with a quick spiritual hack for the days the silence feels too heavy to bear. It is Wendi's gratitude strategy. Start by saying 3 things you're thankful for, and then ask God to help you see the little God winks or small miracles like a vibrant sunset, a child's unexpected smile. Being thankful actually shifts your heart into a receptive state, and it proves that God is still in the details of your life, which lowers the walls of frustration and allows His Spirit to flow back in. If you're ready to identify and remove other blocks that are keeping you in the dark, we have a specialized tool just for you. You can download our free Roadmap to Revelation, 6 steps to hearing God in your daily life, and listen to the Receiving Light and Revelation meditation audio for free. The link is in the notes below. So, my friend, look for a God wink today. Find and remember that He has your back, even when it's quiet, because you are His and He loves you no matter what. And until next time, may you arise, do it God's way, God strong.